Your prompt action underscores your devotion to economic development and to the greater welfare of our people. We do not serve ourselves. We must always strive to work together to serve and benefit the people of our beloved country.
In the third part of this series, we explore three critical pillars of the Renewed Hope Agenda: unlocking energy and natural resources for sustainable development, enhancing infrastructure and transportation as enablers of growth, and focusing on education, health, and social investment as essential pillars of development. These initiatives are designed to harness Nigeria's vast potential, improve quality of life, and ensure sustainable progress. Unlocking the potential of Nigeria's energy and natural resources is essential for sustainable development.
This is an opportunity, a renewed opportunity, to finally deliver on that promise, to finally bridge the gap or commence bridging the gap between what our current reality is and what our immense potential, well advertised immense potential is. It means that the will and the readiness to take very urgent measures to limit the damage of the past and to rebuild our economy and position it for accelerated, resilient, and inclusive growth.
If you want to use green energy as a substitute to fossil fuel, you need the solid minerals, like lithium, for instance. So many nickel and stuff like that. Now, these critical metals are now in global demand because the world is moving to green energy.
The Renewed Hope Agenda is committed to developing renewable energy sources, enhancing the efficiency of the oil and gas sector, and ensuring that solid mineral resources benefit local communities and the nation as a whole.
We've issued 4 presidential directives to that effect. The first one was basically making sure that we clarified the roles of the two regulators in the oil and gas sector. And that was done very early in the first few months of his administration. It was a signaling call to say, this, I'm here to do business, we're open for business, and we'll do what is required on our part to make sure that this is a conducive environment for capital. Next 3 directives that have now been implemented, that he's now signed. The first one, Directive 40, basically offers fiscal incentives that allows us to, again, compete and improve our attractiveness, especially when it comes to gas. Directive 41 is the local content focused one. And what does that do? Over 14 years ago, we passed the local content law, basically looking at our oil and gas sector and saying we need to make sure we build local capacity to say, how do we make sure we create multiple economic clusters and of activity around this oil and gas space. Directive 42 is the last one of the 4 directives that we've worked on this year. Directive 42 basically looks at NMPCL and says its contracting processes, again, came from a different time. It's from a different time. It's a legacy piece. And they had been looking at it actually as well. So Directive 42 basically gives them additional impetus to continue to push through that reform.
To harness these resources and diversify the economy, President Tinubu has executed policy directives to improve the investment climate and position Nigeria as the preferred investment destination for the oil and gas sector in Africa. One of the standout initiatives is the Presidential CNG Initiative, which has established a 100 billion naira fund for the procurement of CNG-powered vehicles, conversion toolkits, and refueling sites, attracting over $50 million in private investment in just 6 months.
This year, what we are hoping to deliver with those actions is $10 billion in investments in upstream. The last time any major investment was done in this country was in 2013.
Since I resumed Immediately we looked at the terrain and we saw that this sector has a lot of potential, which the nation had wasted or disregarded in the past. So the first thing for us was to market that sector effectively, both locally and internationally. And then we drew up a 7-point agenda. 1, the marketing of the sector. 2, combating the insecurity, bedeviling that sector. 3, the case of or issue of illegal miners, dealing with that. 4, establishing an institution that can act on behalf of Nigeria to enter into JVs, the joint ventures, in this sector. I sought the president's approval to establish my own mineral police, specifically targeting the mineral sector.
Additionally, efforts to complete their AKK gas pipeline project and commission gas projects in Delta and Imo State underscore the administration's vision of self-sufficiency in gas for domestic consumption and export. Infrastructure and transportation are critical enablers of economic growth. The Renewed Hope agenda includes significant investments in roads, railways, ports, and airports to facilitate trade and movement.
What Mr. President did first and foremost is to articulate over 333 roads and bridges nationwide. There were some places, our federal roads, you can't pass from one state to the other. And then he immediately articulated Central National Assembly, and that's where we have the supplementary budget. And that brought a lot of hope, to our people. There were places you wouldn't be able to pass before now. And so that is number one. And then number 2, we inherited over 2,600 projects. And he said to me, keep all the projects alive. And some of the projects that even had funded but wasn't going on, we had to move contractors back to site. And so all the projects inherited, they're all active. And that has brought succor, it has brought hope, it has made both the young and the old to have, confidence. If we get our road to a large extent, correct, it will improve on security, it will improve on agriculture, it will improve on commerce, it will improve on tourism, it will improve on solid mineral, and it will bring down inflation. That's what I believe strongly.
In March 2024, the federal government approved the takeoff of the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund, RHIDF, to address the funding gap for infrastructure. With an ambition to raise 20 trillion naira, the fund aims to deliver projects such as the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, Sokoto-Badagry Expressway, Lagos-Kano Standard Gauge Line, and Eastern Rail Lines, in addition to the modernization of ports and aviation facilities.
Lagos-Calabar Highway is an economic game changer for the entire nation. That highway is going to cross about 9 states and is coastal. And what coastal denotes is tourism. So the value of the land abutting the road on all sides becomes bankable.
The coastal road is a legacy project and it's going to save a lot of money for the country. When people talk about, tourism is being destroyed, no tourism is destroyed. Tourism is being created in a very huge form.
Already, work has begun on the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Superhighway, and the engineering design for the Sokoto-Badagry Expressway has commenced. The Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program, aiming to deliver 100,000 houses nationwide, has also kicked off.
When the Nadamba Association Annual Conference took place in Abuja, President went there to flag it, to declare it open. He said, our chief host, I want to ride on the metro line. Don't give me land. I want to ride on the metro line. In essence, he knows it was not in use. Go and make sure the metro line is in use for the good of the people. It will ease the transportation system. It will afford the rural people to use it and come and go back.
In Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory has turned into a construction site due to the high volume of simultaneous construction activities. The FCT monorail project is set for commissioning, and an infrastructure support fund has been established for states to invest in critical areas that will create an enabling environment for businesses. To enhance access to healthcare services, the administration plans to expand primary health care centers from 8,800 to 17,000 over the next 3 years. It has approved 50 billion naira as a 2024 first tranche of funds for the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and is upgrading infrastructure in 12 tertiary hospitals across the 6 geopolitical zones.
Our ministry, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, we are putting all things in order to provide these amenities: provision of safe water for drinking, provision of safe water for domestic purposes, provision of bulk water for both our irrigation and hydropower generation. As we don't forget that we have a program called the Clean Nigeria Use the Toilet program.
In education, the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Act 2024 and the establishment of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund demonstrate President Tinubu's commitment to broadening access to education. The student loan program aims to benefit 1.2 million students in its first phase.
The goals of Mr. President is about access, it's about quality, and then inclusivity. It is at the center of what we should be and our destination as a country. Because any country that gets it right in education is assured of development, progress, and having a space in the Committee of Developed Countries.
Construction of 1,600 capacity student hostels is ongoing across 24 tertiary institutions, and 5.1 billion naira has been approved for funding 185 research proposals under TED Fund, National Research Fund, to promote educational research. The administration has also launched a consumer credit scheme designed to enable Nigerians to access credit to improve their lives and businesses. The federal government's microcredit scheme targets 1.5 million traders and farmers in its first phase, with loans available in the 3 major languages.
And then the 2024 budget, which, among other features, was to reduce deficit from about 6.11% in 2023 to less than 4%, to increase capital spending, to provide money for programs like consumer credit that we believe will stimulate the manufacturing sector, give our young ones the ability to buy goods and services without paying 100% upfront. The mortgage sector, a mortgage fund that is also designed to support housing market, the student loans, the National Agricultural Development Fund, the 130 billion for CNG, just to ensure that we achieve cheaper energy in the country, whether for the transport, for the irrigation sector, and indeed other activities.
In the concluding part of the series, we will delve into the administration's efforts to accelerate diversification through industrialization, digitization, creative arts, manufacturing, and innovation, and improve governance for effective service delivery.
This is a very ambitious government, ambitious to see that Nigeria gets better, ambitious to see that Nigeria goes to that destination.
I do see a long-term place for Ministry of Art, Culture, Creative Economy.
I've never spent a minute with this man where he is not thinking about the poor people.